Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new adventure. We are moving into Master of Orion 2, Battle at Antares. This is another one of the great old classic strategy games. It came out in the mid-90s, a couple years after Master of Magic. I believe this came out in 1998, the same year as Starcraft. Good year for strategy games. Don't hold me to that, I don't fully remember. I do remember that this is one of the games that I spent a lot of time on as a child and young teenager, and I continued to play this game all the way up into my early 20s. It's a lot of fun. As all early strategy games do, it does have flaws, but there's a lot of really cool things in this game that I'm very eager to share. Now, of course, you may notice the two. There was a Master of Orion game before this, the original Master of Orion. That one doesn't have quite the same nostalgia factor to me because I didn't play it when it came out. I played it for the first time much later after I'd played Master of Orion 2 for several years. It's a good game. It's actually quite a bit different, and it is controlled in a very different way. I prefer the way Master of Orion 2 is done, and so we're going to do that one first. We may do the original at a later date. But for now, let's jump right in. We're going to start a new game. So here you can have all your new game settings. We are going to leave tactical combat turned on. That's important to me. I think the tactical combat in Master of Orion 2 is pretty neat. For the tech level, this sets where you are when you start the game. You can start with no research, a little bit of research, enough research to let you move between star systems, or all the basic early game research done. If you set it to advanced, then your nation will automatically be missing some things because of the way research is done in Master of Orion 2, and I'll get into that as we get into our first turn here. For now, we're going to set on... let's go... You know what, let's start from the very beginning. Let's go pre-warp technology, no research done at the beginning of the game. We are going to be playing on... let's go on hard difficulty. As I've said before, I am not fantastic at this game. It is actually possible that I will lose. It's happened before against the AI. Sometimes things just don't break your way, especially when you're not a very good player, so please do not hold me to a high standard of play here. Galaxy Age, you can go Organic Rich, Mineral Rich, or Average. Mineral Rich means you're going to have a really tough time finding places to settle, but they will have lots of resources if you manage to live there. Average is, of course, Average. I prefer Organic Rich. I prefer to have lots of colonies that you can actually settle, even if they're maybe not the most productive. And we are going to have 8 players, which is the maximum. In a huge galaxy, the maximum size. So let's get into nation creation. As in Master of Magic, you have to pick between several different races. Unlike Master of Magic, your race determines pretty much everything, all your bonuses and such. There are many pre-made races, including our good old friends, the Clacons, who we last saw in Master of Magic. Unlike in Master of Magic, they are not repulsive, but they are uncreative, which is actually a huge problem in this game. We also have the humans, who are charismatic and have a democracy, which gives them certain bonuses over the basic dictatorship style of government. We have the no-lambs, who are possibly an awful Jewish stereotype, it's hard to say, but in any case, they make extra money, they're expert traders and lucky. You have the Illyrians, who have extra ship combat stats, are telepathic, omniscient, and feudal. Omniscient, not literally omniscient, but like omniscient in a highly limited way. The Darlocks, who have stealthy ships and a big bonus to their spies. The Bulrathi, who are high gravity and have significant offensive bonuses. The Alkari, who have a lot of extra ship defense and get extra research on their homeworld. The Mechlars, who have extra industrial production and are cybernetic. The Mershan, who have a huge ship offense bonus, a rich homeworld, and are warlords. Warlord, I'll get into the details of all these in just a minute. The Cylons, who have a big research bonus, are low gravity and thus flimsy, but have a large homeworld and are creative, which is an incredibly powerful bonus. Of the basic races, the Cylons are indisputably the most powerful for that specific reason. The Sakra, who have a ton of extra population growth, extra food production, are bad spies, are subterranean, have a large homeworld, and are feudal. The Silicoids, who are repulsive lithivores who are also tolerant and have slow population growth. and the Trilarians, who are aquatic and trans-dimensional. But we are going to go into custom race construction. And I'm going to click last race for now, because this is, I think, what I'm going to end up going with. This is a race I made when I was experimenting. I used the Trilarian picture because I think they're kind of cool looking. But this lets you pick all of your bonuses. Every pick has a points cost associated. You start with 10. You can get up to 10 more by taking penalties. So you can see I have taken Spying -10, which gives me 3 extra points. Ground Combat -10, which gives me 2 extra points. And Low G World, which gives me 5 extra points. You can right-click on all of these to see what exactly they do. So for example, +2 production gives every worker who is producing industrial work +2 production. This is exactly the same as Master of Magic. Everybody assigned to industry produces industry. You need a certain amount to build a building or a unit, and once you've hit that amount, you get the unit spawned. So everyone I assign to industrial production will give me an extra 2 points with this bonus. Similar with food. And with science. Science is your mana equivalent when it comes to research. The same thing as mana was in Master of Magic. But you don't use it to power spells, you only use it for research. That said, research is hugely important. So taking a research bonus probably would have been strictly better than taking an industry bonus, but I felt like taking the industry bonus this time. Ship defense, ship attack have effects in tactical combat. Ground combat has an effect when you are assaulting an enemy colony, which you do. Spying, of course, has an effect on your spies. Your government type gives you different bonuses and penalties. For this game, we're sticking with Dictatorship. Dictatorship gives you a bonus to defensive agents. Your planets suffer a morale penalty unless they have a barracks of some kind, a military outpost. And you assimilate captured population at the rate of 1 pop every 8 turns. When you capture an enemy colony, the enemy population are basically slaves until they assimilate, and unassimilated captured population do work a lot less efficiently than assimilated ones. Then we get into the interesting ones, the special abilities over here, and we'll just go from the top. Low G, which I took, basically means you suffer a penalty normally if you're working on heavy G worlds, and it is extreme. It's 50%. Literally half of everything you're producing just goes away if you're in heavy gravity. If you're a low gravity race, you also suffer a 25% penalty on normal G environments, and you have a -10 ground combat penalty. It's fairly damaging. High G is the opposite. You can operate on both heavy G and normal G worlds with no penalty, and in addition, your ground troops can take an extra hit, which effectively makes them doubly durable over standard ground troops. Aquatic, which I have also taken, means that you treat tundra and swamp worlds, which are 2 of the types of environment you can find, as Terran, which is one of the good types of environment, and ocean and Terran worlds as Gaia, which is the best type of environment, for food production and maximum population. This is really important because maximum population is a huge limiter in this game. So basically, aquatic means on a large fraction of the worlds in the galaxy, I will be able to produce a lot more food than most people and have a lot more people there than most people. Subterranean, similarly, means that your maximum population on all worlds is increased by twice that world's size class. Worlds can be tiny, small, average, large, or huge. And subterranean will give me extra maximum population based on that size class. Also, my ground troops receive a +10 bonus when defending, which will cancel out my ground combat penalty when defending. Large homeworld means your homeworld is big. Rich homeworld means your homeworld has extra minerals, and so you produce more stuff per worker there. In combination with my industry production and my aquatic and subterranean bonuses, that should make my homeworld extremely large and productive right off the bat. Poor homeworld is the opposite of rich. Artifacts world gives you +2 research to everybody on your homeworld. Cybernetic means instead of eating food, your population eat only half a food each and then also eat half a production unit, which is generally a pretty good trade. Cybernetics also means that you repair some of your ships every round in combat, and you automatically have the technology that lets you repair all damage after combat. Lithivore means you eat rocks and just don't need food. You never worry about it, like food is not relevant to your life. Repulsive means you can't really engage in diplomacy, and also, legendary officers, this game's equivalent of heroes, will demand 50% extra money to work for you. You also assimilate conquered colonists at half the normal rate, which is probably the worst penalty here, because to be honest, the diplomacy system often isn't very good, except for trading technologies. Charismatic is the opposite of repulsive. It gives you better chances of working with people. It halves the effect of negative diplomatic actions, and it gives you more legendary officers and leaders and halves their hiring cost. Also, you double the rate at which conquered colonists are assimilated. Very, very good. Uncreative. Uncreative and creative are, to my mind, the worst costed of the special abilities. Uncreative is only gives you 4 extra points, and it's possibly the worst penalty. The way research works is every research step has 3 different technologies you can potentially research and you get to pick from. Some of the options are far, far better than others. Like, there are options sometimes that give you a permanent industry bonus next to an option that lets you see enemy ships a little bit further away, or something like that, that just aren't balanced at all. Uncreative research means that the game will select one application randomly for you, and you won't be able to research the others at all. It should give you a lot more than this, in my opinion, because it is sometimes crippling and you can't control it. Creative, on the other hand, means you get all 3 of the relevant applications with 1 research cost, which is huge. Creative is possibly the best ability in the game, or one of the best abilities in the game. Tolerant means you ignore pollution, and you also treat all planetary environments as Terran. So that basically means you can just settle in a ton of places that most people can't settle, which is a great advantage even into the mid-game. Fantastic traders means you get extra money from trade. Telepathic means you get a diplomacy bonus, and instead of bombarding a planet, you can mind control a planet if you have a large ship available, and you gain ownership of the colony instantly and instantly assimilate all the population, so you never suffer the unassimilated population penalties. That's pretty big. It also gives you a bonus to all spy actions. Lucky means you never have bad events, and you have a good chance of getting good events. Omniscient means you can see all planets and all fleets. Stealthy ships means none of your ships can be seen on the main screen, so nobody can see your fleets coming. Transdimensional means your ships can move faster, and they can move even without you actually technically researching drives that can move them. And Warlord means your troops get extra levels of experience, your ground troops are built quicker, and this is important, each colony produces 2 command points instead of 1. We'll talk about command points in a moment. But this is what I'm going to take. +2 industrial production per worker, -10 ground combat, -10 spying, Dictatorship. Low-G, aquatic, subterranean, large, rich homeworld. So aquatic means I treat most planets, not most planets, but probably something like 40% of planets as one of the best 2 environments. Subterranean means I get an extra bonus to maximum population. Large means my homeworld is big. Rich means it gives me extra production, and combined with this production, that should mean that I start off with a fantastic world that can support a ton of people and produces a ton of food. These, I think, are the least impactful penalties I could pick, which is why I picked them. And we'll go from there. Low G will be a problem, but I will be able to research a technology that will let me build a structure that will obviate this penalty about halfway through the game. So, let's go. Let's get started. I'm not going to be Aqualius, I'm going to be General Confusion. General Confusion, there we go. And let's go. I'm going to pick purple for my color, because purple is my favorite color. Alright, and our home star will be Trilar. So, we're starting off right at the very beginning of everything. We have no research done whatsoever. We can see our planet has 28 maximum population, which is really, really great. It is producing currently 9 food. We have 1 worker producing 7 industry, and we have 4 researchers producing 12 total research points. Also in our star system, we only have 1 other planet, and it is a medium radiated poor planet. So not really a great place to live. Probably not going to settle there. It has a decent maximum population because of all our population size bonuses, but it has an extra maintenance penalty, so our structures would cost us more, our workers would produce less, it can't produce food at all, and it's normal G, so we would take a gravity penalty there. Boy, that is a bad world. It might still be worth settling just to get an extra colony, because colonies are good, but overall, woof, not impressed. Right now, I'm just going to build a housing to boost my population growth. Up here, you can see my current population is 8 million, and I'm growing at 143,000 per turn. Extra population will, of course, let me do more cool things, which is what I want. Up here, we have my tax revenue. I'm collecting 8 in taxes and spending 3 in maintenance. On the capital, among other things, as a dictatorship, if I lose my capital, I get a big penalty everywhere. I have a marine barracks, which is generating infantry. My Marines are awful. They have -10 to combat because of the race and low G penalties stacking. And they have pulse rifles, which give them no bonus. I am, as you can see up here, a dictatorship. This gives me my morale summary. Morale affects all of your production of everything. So getting good morale makes your planet overall much better. Bad morale makes it overall much worse. Right now I'm at 0 because I am a dictatorship, but I have a barracks to counteract the penalty. On this screen, we can see the galaxy and all the stars they're in. These things are black holes. They are difficult to fly next to. This is my command points. Command points are what you use to maintain ships. If your ship total command point requirements go over the number of command points you have to pay maintenance on them. And paying maintenance is bad. It sucks up a ton of your income very quickly. This is food production. Right now I'm producing 1 extra food. Producing extra food helps with population growth, and it also gets you a tiny bit of extra money. For every 2 or 3 extra food you produce, you get some extra cash. These are my freighters, which are not relevant at the moment because I don't have multiple star systems to move things between. And this is my research. Right now I'm not researching anything. Let's click it and change that. So, here you can see the real basic research we can do. We can do nuclear fission. We can research freighters, which allows me to transport food or colonists around. Nuclear bombs and nuclear drives. The very basic ones, when you research those, the 50 research point ones, when you research them, you get all 3 in the category. So, chemistry, I get fuel tanks, fuel cells, titanium armor, nuclear missiles. This gives me nuclear drives, which allows me to move ships interstellar. I need both of these before I can actually build ships that can go places. This gives me laser cannons, laser rifles, which are the first ground weapon, rather. They're not a melee weapon. Don't use a laser rifle in melee. Very inefficient. The beam just kind of shoots off over the enemy's shoulder, doesn't do anything really. And the space scanner, which lets me detect enemy ships for the first time. And up here I get the nuclear bombs as well, and freighters. So we're going to start by researching these, because they are kind of the basics. You need them. Astrobiology would also be good. Also be good to get hydroponic farms, give me extra food. But for right now, let's start with nuclear fission. It'll take me about 7 turns. Notice it only required 50 research points. That's 50 research points before you start having a chance to succeed every turn. This is always random in Masters of Orion 2. You can never quite tell exactly what turn you're going to get the technology. But let's end our turn. Right now you can see I'm making $5 a turn. This is technically billion credits. I have 50 and I'm making 5 a turn. And I can, if I click on this window, set my tax rate. I can increase it. This is the percentage of industrial output that is being converted into money. So if you set it to 50%, your planets are not going to be making much of anything. If you set it to 0, all you're getting is the basic tax rate of 1 BC per head on your colony, basically. Normally I like to hover around 20% later on in the game, but right now, industrial production is more important than money. So, we're just going to stick with housing for the moment. We don't have anything terribly important to build, but we do want to kick up our population as quickly as possible. We have all these tabs down here that are pretty cool. Most of them are not relevant right now. This lets you look at all your colonies at once and give them orders from this screen, and you can sort them by what they produce, the best of. That lets you see all the planets that you know of, that you have not colonized. This lets you see all your fleets of starships, of which we have none at the moment. This lets you see all of the various leaders you have available for hire, all of the heroes you could potentially hire. This is the diplomacy screen, lets you see all the other races in the galaxy if you've contacted them. And this is a reference tool that gives you information about everything. This gives you your income and your maintenance broken down into categories. You have a history graph, a technology review that lets you go over all the technologies you currently know, race stats that tell you all your bonuses and also tell you the bonuses of other people you are in contact with, turn summary, which gives you a summary of your messages for the last turn, and reference, which is basically the encyclopedia. So let's hit the turn button and move ahead. Nothing happened. We made some money, we turned over some research points. Keep going. These early turns in Masters of Orion tend to be this way. So we made our breakthrough. We've got freighters, which can transport food or colonists. Each fleet has 5. That means they can transport 5 food or 1 population unit per turn per 5 freighters. Nuclear bombs, which we use to bombard things, and nuclear drives, which allow us to move ships over interstellar distances. Next, we need to research chemistry to get fuel cells, nuclear missiles, and titanium armor, which is used to build ships. So let's get that going on. We can check in on Trilar while we're thinking about it. Trilar hasn't grown yet, but will grow soon. So we're going to hit the turn button one more time. Trilar has grown to 9 population, and they automatically assigned that guy to research. So we're now producing 15 research per turn. That's great, exactly what we wanted. Let's end a couple more turns here. Up, 100%. Okay, there we go. We finally got it. So we've got extended fuel tanks, nuclear missiles, standard fuel cells, and titanium armor. Now we can start making research choices. But first I am going to grab physics. It's the other basic one. I just want to get it out of the way. Now that we've gotten those things, we can design ships. And you can see ships take quite a long time to build. I can't build colony ships yet. What do I need to build colony ships again? Let me look at my research real quick. Yes, I need cold fusion. Cold fusion allows me to build colony ships, outpost ships, and transports. I'm actually going to get that before I get physics. I don't need physics. I don't need no stinking physics. Who needs physics anyway? As you can see, we're about to get another colonist, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we should get another one almost immediately. Cool. So we're going to delete the housing, however. That'll kick us down to 110k per turn. That's fine for now. And we are going to... well, we already have a scout. So by clicking the design button, you can go into the design screen. That lets you control everything that goes into your ship. You can add special systems. You can add weapons. You can add what drive or armor or shield or computer you want them to use. Right now we don't have any of those, so that doesn't help us much. But this is a really cool feature, and later on in the game it becomes extremely important. Having the most efficient ships possible is a big deal. However, the game has already designed us a scout, which is the smallest ship available. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these nuclear bombs. And we're going to swap them out for one single nuclear missile. It won't help. Actually, we're just going to remove the weapons entirely. We don't need weapons on a scout, we just need it to be cheap. So, we have a scout. It'll take 4 turns to build, but we are going to build it. We're actually going to buy it. So I'm going to click buy, spend 96 billion credits to buy that production, and it'll be ready next turn. There we go. We've christened a new ship, the Scout. So we finished building the Scout, and we are going to go... I think I actually am going to settle that radiated planet. So I am going to build a colony base. Before I build a colony base, I need to build some freighter fleets to transmit food over to it, because I will need that. Now I have a fleet. So you can see I can click here. There's my Trilarian fleet. I can get to that planet, that star system, or that star system. Everything else is too far away. My range currently is 4 parsecs. So let's go check out this star system right here. In Tristan, we have a large tundra planet. That would be an excellent settling location for us. And we have a large toxic planet, which would be a bad settling location. But Tristan 1 we can definitely use. Let's go over there for 3 turns. And we've been attacked by a space hydra, a space monster at the Mulubat system. So we go into combat and are immediately vaporized. However, the fact that there's a hydra here means there's a good planet as well. And indeed there is. This is an ultra-rich, large Terran planet. It is high gravity, so that's a super bummer for us. But it's still a fantastic planet. This is an acceptable planet. This is a fantastic planet, and we want it. Unfortunately, space hydras are tough. Let's look at... I want... I thought it said so. I thought there was somewhere you could look up the space monsters. I want to look up the space monster. Hydras are dangerous, especially early in the game. Fighting a Hydra is probably going to be more than we can handle. But we're going to buy this fleet here. You can see if we move somebody away from food production, it drops our population growth dramatically, which we don't want at the moment. So we're going to keep pop growth high for the nonce. More pop growth at this stage of the game is definitely better. Oh, we made our breakthrough early, so now we can create colony ships, outpost ships. Outposts function like a colony, except no population units may be moved there. Basically, outposts are a way to increase your vision and increase the range of your ships, because your ships draw their circle of movement from the furthest colony or outpost you have. And we can build transports so we can launch ground invasions. Those are all nice. Right now, what we want is... These are a little bit more advanced. Let's grab physics. It's very cheap and quick and basic. Trilar 2 has built a freighter fleet. That is all we need from them. What we need next is a colony base, which is like a colony ship, but a lot cheaper, quicker to build, and can only be used in your own solar system. We are going to go to this radiated planet. It won't be super productive, but it will be some productive, and we could use a little bit more production. And also, there's not much more we can do right now. We could go to Tristan. We could settle on that planet. Actually, you know what? Let's just shell out for the colony ship. We'll go straight to Tristan. It'll be more valuable. It is, however, going to take us a whopping 71 turns unless we commit some more people to it. So we're going to have to commit some folks to that. And even so, we're probably going to end up buying it. Now, Commander Hawk the Astrogator wants to join us. He will raise the speed of our ships. He will increase a defensive bonus. He'll cost us 1 billion credits a turn. We don't need him right now. Since we've rejected him, he'll wait about 30 turns before he moves on somewhere else. So we're going to end a few more turns here. You can see we just gained another population unit. Research-wise, we just got the laser cannon, the laser rifle, which increases our combat rating on the ground by 5, and the space scanner, which can detect enemy ships. The next thing we want is deuterium fuel cells to increase our range a little bit. I don't know if it'll open up any new planets, but it might. On Trilar, we're up to 11 population. We're back up to positive food production, which is great. That colony ship is going to cost us 871 more bucks to buy, so we're going to have to end a few more turns here. The early game tends to do this when you start on pre-warp especially. 9 turns, we're still short by a little bit. Let's end a couple more and see if we can buy it early. Yeah, let's buy that colony ship right now. Great, so we've got our colony ship. Trilar 2 is now going to build housing? Yeah, housing. We're gonna pump the population on this planet. So, our colony ship is going to go down to Tristan and colonize Tristan 1. Since Tristan 1 is a tundra world, we will treat it, well, we don't treat it as anything special, we just get a whole bunch more population here. So, the first thing we need to do is we have to build a marine barracks to get rid of that pesky morale problem. We're going to move this guy down to production. You can see here we are taking a gravity penalty, but our production and Trilarian bonus is enough to allow us to produce some industry anyway. And one of our freighters is being used, shipping over the food that Tristan needs from Trilar, which is currently producing 2 extra food. Let's work a few turns. Nope, not Trilar. Didn't mean to click on that. We need to go to Tristan, because the first thing Tristan needs is I need 73 more bucks. Let's end a couple more turns. I still need 20 more bucks, so let's end one more turn. And Tristan can buy its marine barracks to get rid of that nasty morale penalty that's hurting me so much. So Tristan Prime has finished building the marine barracks, which means it can now turn its production towards either housing or a starbase. The first thing we need is definitely housing to get our population growth up. We need a couple more population units in order to really do anything great here. We should be getting our next breakthrough any time now. There it goes. So we've got deuterium fuel cells. Secondly, I think we probably want fighter bays. Wouldn't be a bad idea, but we're not going into combat just yet. So first, let's get the hydroponic farm to let us make extra food on barren planets like Tristan. This guy needs to go down to production to keep population growth high. We're still positive on food because Trilar is still producing extra food, which is really, really nice. Basically, I'm going to try to max out Trilar's population so that they can produce as much stuff as possible. They produce a lot of food. They're producing 18 food, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With 6 guys, they're producing 18 food. So they're producing 3 food per farmer, which is enough to support both Trilar and Tristan fairly easily. And Director Kimbuzi, who is a farming leader, is offering to join me. I will hire him. He's not a ship officer. He's a colony leader, and we're going to assign him to Trilar. He'll be there immediately, and with him there, our food production will spike. It'll spike enough, in fact, that we can afford to take some people off of food production and put them onto either science or industry. We can afford to take one person off at least. Let's put him on industry. Let's put him on science, actually. And let's put that guy on science as well, just to get us a little bit quicker research. Galactic News Network, a random event has occurred. The Alkari Empire has discovered the secretive fusion beam in the wreckage of an ancient mysterious ship. That's nice, it means they're not too far ahead of us, because fusion beams are fairly basic. Tristan, still at 2 populations, still building housing, should be at 3 pretty quickly here. And we have researched the hydroponic farm. Excellent, excellent, excellent. The next thing we should do is soil enrichment. Unless we want to buff our ships at this point, which I'm not too worried about. Let's get soil enrichment going. It will take quite a while to research, but it'll be worth it. For now, we're going to build a hydroponic farm, get a little bit of food going. And we'll just buy that sucker right now. Nope, I accidentally pressed the wrong button. We'll buy that sucker right now. At Trilar, we're up to 17 population. Population growth does slow as you get higher and higher, but that's fine. Magistrate Ralia the Siren, spiritual leader. I forget what exactly that does. In any case, we're going to move him to production there. And Tristan Prime is now going to build... What should Tristan Prime should build me a scout to go out and explore the universe. Let's do that. Let's look at that leader. Magistrate Ralia is very expensive, but famous means that she decreases the cost of hiring anybody else by a lot. Diplomat means she gets extra diplomatic points for diplomatic negotiations, and spiritual leader increases morale by 22%. Unfortunately, I can't hire her at the moment. I will be able to afford it before she leaves, so I have to remember to do that, because 22% morale is a big bonus. I'm still buffing up growth with my production here, but I'm going to take a break in order to build the hydroponic farm, which will only take a couple of turns. There we go. Tristan Prime has christened the Scout. Great. I don't want you producing income right now. I want you producing... let's start to produce... No, not a colony ship here. Let's produce housing. Keep you buffing yourselves up. This Scout can now travel to these new planets. And they are yellow stars, so they may have more settleable worlds. Trilar has got a hydroponic farm going. We'll stick with that guy on food production. Housing only kicks us up by about 45 now. So, let's instead start building another colony ship. We'll find another place to colonize pretty quickly. In the early game, it is all about spamming out colonies when you can, especially because the AI on hard gets a lot of production bonuses. So by starting at pre-warp, you basically give the AI more of a head start because they have a longer time to leverage their increased production and research bonuses before you run into them. Ooh, Naos has a Terran world. I absolutely want to get that because we treat it as Gaian for the purposes of food production especially. I'm still short on that colony ship. I'm producing +2 food in total, so I'm going to take him away, put him on there. Now I'm producing -2 food, which is going to be Tristan's problem. Actually, it looks like population growth is still positive everywhere. Yeah, population growth is still positive, so it's not, people aren't starving. That's fine. There's a stable wormhole here that will let me go all the way over to this side of the galaxy immediately, so I'm going to try it. There's nothing here. This is a totally empty star system, so we're going to go back. And from there we will explore this planet, or that star system. Leaders, 23 turns left for Magistrate Ralia. We'll hit her. We'll reach it in time. Nothing in the Morrig system. Let's explore this star right here as well while we're out. So we have finished researching soil enrichment, so we can increase the food that a farmer can harvest. Basically, this means we can assign fewer farmers to get the same effect. At this point, we can start moving away from just food. The next thing we really want is the pollution control facility, the pollution processor. Which, because pollution, you've seen those, on the planet screen, you've seen those little yellow barrels with the black symbol on them. Those are just straight negative production. Having those basically increases our production by half of whatever our pollution is. And pollution goes up as production goes up. That said, pollution processors are expensive, so first I'm going to spend some time getting some cheaper stuff. The fusion drive is a great one. That'll make all my ships faster, including my scouts and colony ships, so we're going to go that way first of all. Trilar has not grown in population again yet, but they will next turn. After that colony ship, we're going to put down soil enrichment. And we also want to put down soil enrichment on Tristan. Tristan's up to 5 population now. Good place to be. We're going to get that soil enrichment for him. In the Aquatic system, all we have is an uninhabitable gas giant, so we are a little closed off, except for Naos, which we definitely want. We also definitely want Mulubat at some point, but we're going to have to build warships capable of fighting the Space Hydra before we can possibly take Mulubat. This scout can't go anywhere else and isn't doing anything particularly good for me, so we're going to move him back to Trilar and disband him. Captain Mukir, the Mershan warrior, wants to join us. He will buff up our combat ships, but I don't need him right now. I think I now have enough money to hire... Nope, she needs 360. Don't quite have enough for Magistrate Ralia. So, at Trilar, I'm going to go to my fleets panel. I'm going to click on that scout, and I'm going to press scrap. That'll give me 7 BCs back. So I'm going to do that. Next turn, now I have enough to hire Magistrate Ralia. So Director Kimbuzi is a farming leader, gives us extra food plus 20%, but Magistrate Ralia is a spiritual leader who will give us, should be plus everything, 22%. So, Kimbuzi is going to be sent to Tristan, that'll take him 5 turns. Ralia is going to be sent to Trilar. That will happen immediately since Trilar is the capital. Now if we look here, morale bonus plus 3.75, morale bonus plus 7, morale bonus plus 7.5. Magistrate Ralia is increasing our production of everything because she gives you 25% extra morale. It says it's only 22% here. It's actually, I think, rounded up to the closest 5%. So our little fledgling empire is off to a booming start. We've got 2 good leaders. We're producing lots of extra food. We've just researched the fusion drive. Next, we probably want to get... Let's get some construction, shall we? Let's get fighter bays, which will allow us to put fighter craft on our warships. of which we have designed 0 so far. We have not made any warships whatsoever. Trilar is up to 20 population and is producing 21 food. Excellent. They're doing a lot of research for me. I like it. We're up to 41 research points. Tristan Prime just finished their soil enrichment, so we can now move one of these guys down to either do research or produce industry. Let's produce industry, and we will start to build a starbase. Starbases maintain ships. They also let you build larger ships. I actually don't need a starbase yet. They give you more command points, which is really, really nice. But I don't need command points at the moment. I'm already building a colony ship to go to the only other good colony site I know. So let's look into designing some ships, shall we? The Stingray is the largest kind of ship we can build somewhere where we don't have a starbase. The best weapon we have available right now is the nuclear missile. We can equip it with various abilities that will make it harder to shoot down. Heavily armored means it takes twice as much damage to destroy. ECCM can have the chance of it being jammed by enemy ECM. And fast means it moves more quickly and so has higher defense. Over here you control the amount of ammunition the system is installed with. You can either have 2, 5, 10, 15, or 20, all of which of course increase the size necessary. In general, I find it's better to have fewer shots because it cuts down on the size and cost. If you have shot times 20, yeah, you have a lot of rounds, but your individual volleys are much smaller because you have much less space available. Whereas if you go times 2, you can give them times 2 fast missiles, and you could put 6 of them on a ship. Even a very, very small ship like this. That gives you a lot of front-loaded firepower, which is very, very important with the way that combat works in Masters of Orion. But that is actually going to be for another time. We're gonna set that as a style here. We have no shields, no computers, only titanium armor. Currently our ships are incredibly weak and pathetic because we haven't been researching ships. I'm going to build another freighter fleet just because I feel like I might need one soon in the future here. We're producing +3 food, so Trilar can probably afford to move a guy away. No, then we're decidedly negative on food, it looks like. He would give us more production. Nah, we'll stick with food for now. But it's been about 40 minutes. I think I'm going to wrap up this episode here. Thanks for joining me on this. I'm sure I haven't done a great job of explaining everything so far, but I'll be honest, I'm excited to be playing this game again. And especially, I'm excited to be sharing it with you all. Can't say words, you know that already. I've said that many, many times. I don't English. So, thanks for watching. If you like what I do here on the channel, if you're excited about this series, feel free to subscribe, consider supporting the Patreon, but whether you do or not, I'll see you in the next episode.